We want to talk about cancel culture. That's a thing now.
What is it?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about what it is, what it's not. Is it real?
Yes.
And we gotta talk about some of the latest people that got canceled in that situation, because I think it shines a good light on it for real.
It does.
All right, so who wants to? Should we get in the situation first or defining?
I guess let's go ahead and define it real quick.
Define that shit.
All right, so who would like to define canceling culture or the cancel culture as a whole?
I'd like to define it as pretty much as a viral boycott. When the internet people are outraged by a certain individual for whatever.
Twitter fingers.
Yeah, I mean, when the
Real
Twitter
shit.
fingers start to tweeting and stuff, for whatever reason they pick an individual for whatever problematic thing that they've done, and pretty much decide that they're not supporting them in any of their endeavors.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm about to say I think I can think of a successful.
It's like timeout.
Yeah, solid timeout.
It's like detention with the hat, and they got a cone. Says detention on it.
Some people that got canceled that I can think of successfully, at least on my timeline. Bill Cosby, Juicy Smollett.
Smollett.
Why you keep calling that man Juicy?
Honestly, after that Dave Chappelle stand up,
That's
it changed his name for me. Yeah, that's what it is. Who else was
Azalea Banks.
Azalea Banks? That's a good one. That was a good
She's
one.
annoying now.
Yeah,
And
that's
she
why they
deserves to get canceled.
She picked fights.
Yeah.
She just was trying to pick fights.
And with Azalea, I think that also brings it to like, we only cancel when it's against like another race. It kind of seemed like, because when it's something that affects us, we kind of forgive them. But if it's another race, then we might,
Oh, we do.
Didn't you just name 3 black people?
Yeah, but I mean, Bill Cosby still tweeting. He still got his fan base somewhere.
He's still on BET.
And honestly,
Cosby Show comes on every day.
his is kind of
The
an
put
extreme.
pop
You know,
But his is like
you
is
did
weird.
that shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Azalea Banks, I don't really. She was never on my timeline, so
My
she
biggest
was
she was
never
never
even
on my
timeline
timeline.
for
She was
anything
more known
productive.
for her comments and her music.
Yeah, so I was
Yeah,
like,
she's a troll,
She
so-
always been canceled, kind of, sort of for me, but she
And Juicy
was
Small,
officially-
Oh, we forgot about we can't really
You
say
you
R. Kelly.
said Swole
Small, yeah.
Swole
Small,
I mean, just for the fact that he was the man on Power, and then after his dumbass move,
Empire.
Oh yeah,
Empire.
Empire. Oh, I can't fuck that up.
I mean, it's all nigga shit.
Yeah, real shit.
Fofty might come after you.
Yeah, hey, please. Yeah. Hey, we said faulty. But nah, yeah, I think he's definitely been canceled. I haven't seen him on anything after that.
Apparently, he's supposed to be coming back for like the last show, like the last episode of Power or Empire. I'm sorry, niggas. I understand Empire and Power not the same.
It's damn sure not, yo. That Power shit was real, yo.
It was, son, and I ain't watch it yet. Sorry.
I'm a proud member of someone who's never watched Power.
Actually, I've watched it. I just didn't watch this last season.
Honestly, yo, Power is something that you gotta watch. And what they about to do is so dope.
Oh yeah, they get everybody
book?
like a spin.
Yeah, that shit is fire.
Did they get everybody like their own shit now?
Curtis Jackson is someone that I really can't support.
Who you say?
Curtis Jackson is someone I really can't
For
support.
real?
Word? It's
Why?
50,
Why?
AKA
Tell us why.
Ferrari.
He's annoying.
As 50.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So hold on. Did you cancel 50 Cent for yourself?
Did you
Is
cancel
50
him?
Cent canceled it
50
yet?
Cent well, I can cancel people without.
Yeah,
a problem.
you can cancel your own people.
So is he canceled?
50 Cent is canceled.
Damn.
Wait. I need a reason.
Yeah, I need to know why.
Just because he annoying?
He's annoying as
He's
fuck.
so entertaining.
Well, first of all,
50's entertaining.
what K Camp say? Ain't nothing cut that bit. I can cut you off real quick. Ain't a
Hey,
problem.
nah, yo, 50 my man.
Yo,
Nah.
50 is the best entertainment out there.
What has-
You want to hear something crazy?
50 Cent hasn't done shit for me since like 2007.
See,
Damn, you just since his album came out.
Since Get Rich or
God
Die Trying.
damn.
Hey, dog.
He hasn't done shit for me.
Hell, that was a good.
hey, yo,
album,
50
though.
wrote a good book.
A book?
Yeah, he wrote a book, The 50th Law.
So he no. He bit off the 48 Laws of Power and added his own law.
That's cool.
No, he didn't write a book.
That's writing the book.
No, that's that's copying.
That's not copying.
Yes,
It's
it
referencing.
is.
He started
It's a
with
new law.
He started with the 48 laws. That's a book.
And he
Yes,
added
we
to-
know that. but it's the 50th law.
What is his law to be petty?
It's about not being
He's very good at that,
identified or being scared of the fear of not knowing what's going
I
to
feel
happen.
like that's a combination of multiple 48 laws.
I mean, but it's also 50 Cent and how he moved throughout his whole
So you
career.
just
paid the guy?
He was always a troll.
You
more
just
than-
made his point though.
what?
It's not really a 50th law.
Law.
He just combined some of the
48 laws and added.
I
But
mean,
you could-
in the 50th
But you
Cent
could
way,
make
yeah.
I
mean,
a conclusion that there aren't really 48
yeah, exactly. Like you
laws.
make up
like
the laws.
Other laws can allude to other laws.
He
So I
finessed
just
his
add
situation.
51.
I respect 50 because he finesses and plays each move that he makes well. And that book, 50 Flaw of Power, is like really based off fear, and a lot of people don't move because they're scared of that next move.
Right.
But don't be. So that was a good book.
But Drake canceled him, so
yeah, like shit.
I mean, he's canceled. Personally,
Yeah.
Curtis Jackson is canceled.
And that's another thing about cancel culture.
let go of that cancel button, okay?
Nah,
You gotta let go of that cancel.
Some
I'm
motherfuckers you gotta
cool.
cancel.
Yeah, it's like I feel like cancel culture is a personal thing. Nobody's
It's
gonna
not
get canceled
personal,
on
it's a national
Well,
phenomenon.
no one is.
It's-
Permanently, no one's canceled. Like
Yeah,
I said,
exactly.
it's a timeout. But
Exactly.
Curtis Jackson does not behave.
Yeah.
Do not underestimate the
respectable
power
black
of
man.
social
You
media
think that
and
kid
the
that's always
internet.
in
Yeah.
detention?
The internet is forever.
Nah, it's like yo, they
always
can
on the
they can
cloud.
get canceled, but they're really gonna be canceled on individual timelines, not
That
through
is
the
very
whole
true because
world.
it's still not just people that listen to R. Kelly, but women that listen to R. Kelly.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Yo, like
Especially
I said,
women
I
over the
believe
age
I
of
can
45.
fly. Got me through
They
a
still
lot
listen
of
to
shit.
R. Kelly faithfully.
oh, it's
Yeah, I
still
saw that
women
shit.
under the age of 21 that still listen to R. Kelly. You know, that's his target range.
He was doing that for a minute. Rolling up
Oh,
the
yeah.
guns in the Jeep.
Hey,
He's like, as long
Army
as you
of
got a
my
GED,
Jeep.
because if you have a diploma, you probably too smart. Because R. Kelly can't
Too
read,
smart
write,
to
nor
fall
do
for
math.
these.
So as long as you got a GED, if you went to night school, R. Kelly's fucking with you.
And you know another interesting thing, as I'm looking at stuff right now.
Yeah, what is it?
With like R. Kelly situation.
Yeah.
Although he was canceled, I think the time that he was probably canceled the most, everybody was streaming his music. You know, after the time.
Oh,
of,
because they had the mute R. Kelly
yeah,
hashtag.
exactly.
Which meant niggas was like, y'all muting this black man?
They really-
We anti-muting them. Niggas just had R. Kelly on silent stream.
It's like right after you play a documentary of, given the situation of reason why somebody's being canceled, that's another reason for our people to go look into everything they've done.
And he's gonna get hella plays.
Hella plays. And you would
Hella
think he would get
streams.
money, but he already tied up with some legal
Well, I'm about
stuff.
to
So
say, he
he
never
might
had
not
a
be
good
getting money,
lawyer,
but
so-
Yeah,
he getting the streams.
all those plays, all that money is going to somewhere else.
Because he's definitely still on iTunes.
Well, because his label owns all his music, so
True.
they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, play that shit.
I still won't get over the fact that he made that goddamn 20-minute song.
Hold
I
up.
can't remember what it's
I'm
called.
about
He
to
made a
say-
20-minute song.
It was
Pretty much saying that I
He
did it.
He did it. Yeah,
Was that
yeah.
the name of it? I did it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was like,
Yo,
I
he
did
was
it,
like,
some shit like
just
that.
apologized for everything. It was like, yeah, I don't owe none of my music. That's why I'm still doing albums. It's just terrible. But he used to sing outside the McDonald's, so bless his heart.
True.
R.I.P. Benji.
Any other successful or unsuccessful cancels that y'all can think of?
We've canceled.
Unsuccessful is Kevin Hart.
Unsuccessful.
Yeah, I was
is
thinking-
Kevin Hart.
And Kanye.
Kanye West.
Kanye is still-
You know what? You know a successful cancel? Carrie Hilston.
Yeah.
What was she canceled
Yeah,
for?
what
She
Beyonce.
spoke out on Beyonce,
Beyonce.
and
Yep.
niggas wasn't having.
you
it.
can't
We
fuck with
haven't
the
heard-
hive,
We have
dog.
not heard of
Beehive
Carrie
was not
Hilston
having
since.
And that's another like with cancels. You gotta know who you fucking with.
I have a question. Was Alicia Keys canceled?
No, she's just
Nah.
annoying as shit.
Damn.
No, like
She
I feel like
is.
she was canceled, like because she was basically like didn't she like get promoted from like Swiss Beats side chick to her, his wife?
She
like it wasn't
stole
that, like,
Swiss Beats from his wife,
Damn.
which I don't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I feel like.
she got a promotion.
I mean, yeah,
That's not
I don't remember her being.
That's
she got a promotion.
I mean, I saw a tweet
know,
earlier
Sweet
last
work
week
ethic.
that said, "Don't let a marriage stop you from your dream, from your soulmate." So if your soulmate is married to someone that
hey,
don't
yo,
come
not
not
today.
yours.
I fucking hate y'all niggas.
I don't agree with that. That's not okay.
It's somewhere in the Bible that says what is for me is for me. So
You're taking that completely out of context.
So
what it say?
Some brothers might need that word.
Actually,
Alicia
saying
Keys
that.
was like, "Your man is for me. I don't care if he's your man.
In
he's
due
for
time.
me."
Yeah, she should have got canceled.
That's God's plan. 'Cause
God's plan.
Look how it is.
God wanted Alicia Keys to have Swiss Beats.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It was ordained.
God, you just said, never mind, I'm quiet.
Sis,
You're not,
Swiss
nope.
Keys.
Shut up. Nope.
Who else is being
Y'all killing me
canceled?
today, y'all.
Temporarily. What's the real? Well, black people don't really be getting canceled like that because we ride for our niggas.
Yeah, we are
died
very
for my-
forgetful. I'm not forgetful. Forgiveful.
Forgiving, or we
Forgiving.
just you know what?
Was Bow Wow ever canceled for the Bow Wow?
No, he's just an
channel?
idiot.
Yeah, some people you just let them do
Bow
their
Wow's
dumb
not
shit.
canceled, but he's on the shut-in list. He's on the shut-in list.
He's on the
Pray
sick
for
and
Sean
shut-in.
Moss. Well, no.
Well, he might be back popping
Sean
out because
Moss
his
is
concert.
canceled. We need Bow Wow.
Yeah,
He about to be on his
'Cause-
concert, though.
Oh yeah, he's the
Yeah,
millennium
true.
tour for all y'all.
I'm about to go.
millennials.
I'm about to go.
The
The
rest
only
of
reason I
B2K
want to go is so I
was
can do the
canceled.
Soulja Boy dance. But I'm going.
We need
Oh,
to,
man.
we need to cancel Lil Fizz and what's the girl name? We need to
Honey,
cancel
April.
him.
April?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
definitely
that's
get
fucked up.
canceled.
Yeah, that's fucked
Is
up.
Chris Stokes canceled? Can
Yo.
we make a cancel list? Chris Stokes is canceled
Yeah,
because
I support that as well. I support that as well.
Yo, like, but for real.
yeah, we should. let's
April
make a
smashed-
cancel
he was taking
list.
Lil
April
Boy's booty
smashed
hole,
the
right?
homies.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
She smashed the homies.
Damn.
She smashed
So
the
nobody's want to answer that
homies.
question. Okay.
You had a question with that question, yo?
I said he was taking little boys' booty holes. That's what Chris Stokes.
That was your question.
Chris Stokes was.
you wanted
Chris
to repeat
Stokes was
that
stroking.
question.
Why you think they was dancing like that? They was,
Hey, man, I thought you had a real serious ass question. I was all concerned that your voice wasn't being opinion. Hey, and that was your question.
Hey Fizz, you're not moving to the left and the right the way I need you to.
Stop
his
it.
favorite was Raspy. That's why he always had a
Stop.
tuxedo jacket with no sleeves.
I'm not here for this shit.
Yeah,
His
wear
bump,
that.
bump, bump was a little awkward than most.
Ayo, can we talk about how Gayle King got canceled recently and she shouldn't have
She
been
was
canceled?
canceled for like 2 days. That don't really count.
Ooh,
but
you
know, Uncle
immediately
Snoop.
had a take on it. So
Yeah, yeah,
we're
nah.
right into
You
your
feel
take.
like she
So like,
shouldn't
it's,
Nah, she shouldn't have
elaborate.
been. She
I
shouldn't
need
have
to
been.
hear
Elaborate on
your take on it.
I mean, she's a journalist.
Okay.
And the reason she was being canceled was because of the interview she did with Lisa Leslie and asking about Kobe Bryant's his case, his alleged
rape?
case. Yeah. And as a reporter, that's just her job. And I really felt like when watching the interview, the way she was speaking and asking the question, I felt like she was kind of throwing an alley hoop, you know, to answer that question in a good way and to respect Kobe's honor. So just. I mean, I felt like she was doing the job in that given situation.
I understand that as a reporter, she might have been doing her job, but as a black woman,
She could have
I don't
protected a little
think
bit
the
better.
timing was right for her
Yeah, I
to
was
bring
about-
up that question.
Yeah,
I was about to say the timing was trash.
It was past the timing of her though because it was still other people talking about it. So I
Should have
thought
said no.
She
Like,
was,
my
for her to
she
be
could've
the
said no.
first person to us hear about bringing up the rape case, I think was wrong.
she wasn't the first though.
She's the first one that we heard.
It's fresh.
But
it's fresh enough.
although
not,
we
not
was
even
the
to be
first one to hear it from her, it was still an article or some release where they was
Niggas
just
don't read.
That's true as well. But it was still brought up. So it was still brought up, and that was an opportunity for her to change the narrative of that story by asking Lisa Leslie, a close friend of Kobe, her opinion on it.
So
I don't think that's the issue. I think the reason why some people really canceled her in a way is because I get from what I saw, because I saw the interview as well. It was like she like the chick, what's her name?
Lisa Leslie.
She didn't really want to answer.
It was
the
uncomfortable.
questions. It felt
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
at a certain point, I get it. You're trying to do your job, but if somebody's like that uncomfortable with answering these questions, at some point your moral compass has to kick in.
Yeah.
Because would you do the same thing if it was a white person or an Asian person?
I mean, and that's another
Probably
thing.
not.
I also thought of like with Gayle King, she's older, so she's one of those like front runners in the journalist game up there with Oprah. So
Well, she's Oprah's best friend.
yeah, their peers are different.
Big Oprah or skinny
You know what I'm
Oprah?
saying?
Well,
I guess you could say
skinny Oprah ain't been skinny Oprah in a.
I set him up all the time.
You like
Love it.
I was very.
Damn, he just left me
Let
angry.
me finish that one. The skinny Oprah.
Anyway.
I just think the timing was trash.
I mean, I understand that, but
I think in the context of journalistic integrity, 2 of the 3 questions about Kobe were spot on. I was listening to a podcast, The Odd Couple, with Rob Parker and
and Chris
Broussard. They made a point about that because they're both journalists as well, and they said like the first and third questions were light. The second question, I want to say, alluded to the fact that, I think Lisa Leslie was just like, oh, I've been out with guys who were kind of like that, and Kobe's not that type of guy. Well, you wouldn't know if he's that type of guy. That's not your place. That's outside of the realm of journalism. You wouldn't say that. It was almost like, why would you even go that far if you're not trying to dig?
Yeah, I mean, she was definitely digging.
Yeah, like in the realm of that question, and it's stuff like, well, you wouldn't know what type of guy he is. She just told you she's been around other guys who are like how, that perception of whatever that case was.
Yeah.
And she said Kobe Bryant was different.
So when you first heard that interview and her question, and you felt some type of way about it?
Absolutely.
I had to watch it
because I had to look at it again.
I had to watch it twice. Because the first time you're just kind of trying to get it, and then the second time you're like, all right, now I can build an opinion on it. Exactly what he was saying. Like, it was certain points when, like, she was like, I'm gonna be funny, but she was like an iota. She was just digging for gold and shit. Like, she was just digging. Like, sometimes you just gotta let that shit go. Like, gold ain't always
gold ain't always gold.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I love that.
It was I saying
everything that glitter
ain't gold. Amen.
Hey yo, yeah,
I
but
still fuck with y'all. I'm sorry,
but it was just that people's emotions are going to be high, just because Kobe was beloved. Yeah. So like we have to keep that in mind, and then the timing was off. But I understand that's your job. Mm-hmm. I understand that. I need you to understand that. I understand that's your job.
She was receiving death threats.
Okay.
Well, that's where
that's where
and that's where it just gets extreme.
Like,
it
should be like, yo, you was wrong for this, and then let it go.
Yeah,
I think
and that's the cancel culture aspect of it as well. We really kind of
treating her like treating her like they was treating the dude that killed Nipsey. Like, like it's her
or the dude that actually talked shit about Kobe.
Yeah.
Like they're not on the same level. Like Gayle King definitely didn't do that.
Like I think like I don't agree with. He definitely could have used a different choice of words.
Snoop.
Oh,
we're going to Snoop and Snoop words.
He could have used a different choice of words, like. But the whole threatening her life, and like at the end of the day, she technically was doing her job. She had a moral compass in some aspect of it, of course. But again,
I just don't think that she was as sensitive. That's the thing about older black people.
Okay.
They aren't sensitive to.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about your
generation
feelings
at all.
And
here's
facts.
the thing about timing. Here's the thing about timing. The timing was off, and Snoop Dogg was Kobe's friend.
Yeah.
So like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. So his reaction was pure emotion, and like, yo, don't talk about my friend like that. And this is my homie.
It's kind of weird for me because like I support Gayle because she was a journalist, and now I can understand Snoop because he was a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like a true friend. So I can understand both of their perspectives and how they're responding to this.
And I'm not really surprised because when he died, I was like, I know somebody gonna bring up that case.
Yeah,
I just would have expected it to be like Fox
Yeah,
News,
true,
or like Tommy Lauren or something.
Not like, and then
not
Gayle.
Gayle interviewing another black woman.
Yeah,
but kind of Snoop made a good thing, because it kept playing like on the radio, like a clip, like. You went so hard like against this black man, but you wouldn't do it like you pointed out. You never see it on any other spectrum.
And this is and just to add on that, this is a consistent theme. Like this is why I'm saying like whenever we talk about black men specifically, like there's all this, and I think I've said this before, all these great accomplishments, all these things that Kobe has done, and we bring up this. This is news.
Yeah.
This is news. And it's just like, why is it just so difficult for a black man just to leave this life, live a life and leave it as just an accomplished black man with all of his integrity intact?
And not even that. Like the case itself, under their peers and the court of law, he got tossed out. So at the end of the day, you're looking for something that
He wasn't guilty.
He wasn't guilty.
They was definitely digging for a story right there.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and
you
that
don't
flaw
need
in
to,
his life.
and you don't need to. It's
Yeah.
Kobe. He's known
I
by
agree.
one name,
Yeah.
first name basis. You don't need any other story.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just talk about his greatness. He was great in the
Yeah.
number 8. He had a Hall of Fame career in 2 numbers. Each of them were Hall of Fame.
And his shoes are
You don't need a
fire.
story.
I mean, he's along the line of the LA greats that go by one name. It's like
Magic, Kobe,
Kareem, Shaq.
Yeah.
True.
You don't need any other story. And the simple fact that you can't tell me that in some way, shape, or form, this was an attempt to attack a black man's character as a whole. Maybe not Gail Kim, maybe
King.
Gail Kim. That's the one from the corner store.
Yo, them cheeseburgers be lit.
She charges you another 25 cents if the charge is under $10.
Hey, dog.
40 cents for some cheese.
Hey, dog.
Shouldn't
But
be
yeah,
cheese anyway.
Gail King. It's not so much her. It's maybe the one who said he played for the Los Angeles
Knickers?
Knackers.
Yeah.
Knickers.
It's not funny, but it is funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think her the Knickerbockers reporters, like, that was clear.
There was no Bockers. It was just Knickers.
Real shit. That was clear. But what Gail's like, with her situation, I think she was having a genuine interview, and it may have been clipped wrong. Whereas, you want to get those clicks, baits, those likes, that attention to that interview. So that's the part they're going to take and try to
It's
run
tough.
It was just a
It's
bad
tough,
taste
man.
in question.
Yeah.
It's bad taste.
It was tough. It was like, yo, it's
And
like,
as a-
I get it. You're being asked by your employer to do this interview, and you have to touch on certain subjects because this is your job.
Yeah,
and as a reporter, it's part of your job to ask the tough questions. I just don't think that was the time to do
it was probably the bad wording.
And while we're on this subject of cancel culture, do you think we're going to get canceled for our take?
Might be.
And we're canceled. It happened. It happened, fellas.
That's crazy, yo.
That was crazy.
Hey,
It's
we gonna
perfect
fight
timing.
that one, yo.
We didn't- That was not
Yo, that's
playing.
a clip.
Hey, we gonna fight
That
that
was
one.
not playing.
That
Shit.
was a
Oh,
lie.
man.
That was a lie.
That was the cancel culture just being like, watch what you say, nigga.
Honestly, yeah, real talk. Because I was about to say some stuff about somebody that I think is getting canceled as we speak.
Are we canceling people? Let's do it.
Nah, I think. Well, I'm not personally canceling her, but I think she's getting canceled.
You're just talking about the
I see
canceling.
the picture on the screen. I
Yeah.
just want you to say it.
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, Nika.
For what?
Her
For-
corny ass husband.
Okay.
Her corny husband. I'm not even gonna say corny husband. Just recently, I feel like she's just doing a whole lot with this Meek situation.
Doing a whole lot. And
Do you think it's cancelable?
It's a lot of
Like, do you think it's
contradictions.
on the status of being canceled?
For me, it is. For me,
Explain. Explain.
so
being
personally,
petty.
she's
Like,
being
this is a
petty. She's doing way too much. I think she's angry.
The Barbies won't allow
Can you
it.
delve
She
into
said
the-
that she was taking a break from everything. Yet she's on the internet.
Yeah, she.
The Barbies won't let it happen.
Yeah, she was surprised that she got backlash for saying that she was about to retire or some shit like that. So she
Well, she should have just stuck with it. She said she wanted to have a family. You should have go ahead and had your family. But I just think that she's doing a lot of this, maybe to cover up for the fact that her brother got sentenced to like 25 years for like molesting his stepdaughter or something crazy like that.
crazy.
Man, look, this is all petty because they loved each other at one point. So,
Yeah.
like, this is petty. Like,
And
I
y'all
don't
going
really
at
think-
each other and talking stuff.
That's another topic we
You
want
were
to have
cool.
about relationships because I feel like
you were
celebrity
cool with all of
relationships are
that.
not the
You
same.
True.
everything that they're saying about each other, they knew why they were together, and you were cool with it.
Yeah.
That's the petty part.
But that's how our relationships.
And then another thing,
Calling Meek Mill bad built. You love that bad built body. Why he was your
Nicki
Why he was
Minaj
your
don't even know
man?
how to brush waves, so that don't matter.
Chill.
I see the one meme when she's brushing the nigga, she brushing the front of his head backwards. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
How you let that slide? Nah.
Count your days, queen.
And then she was doing some type of like conversation or something, and she was just listing all
let her
her
talk?
songs. Yeah, like she didn't like it was all her popping songs. She was like, I didn't like Anaconda. I didn't like just like all her hit songs from the last few
Because
years.
she was making music for teenagers.
Exactly. So she wasn't being herself. And it's
She had 5 different nicknames.
yeah.
But yeah,
But
but
yeah,
Nicki Minaj always in some mess. I remember when Gucci first got out, and her and Gucci was going back and forth on Twitter.
About what?
Gucci was talking about how him and Waka had ran through, and she was like, "That ain't true." And then I think Gucci might. This was before Gucci was like clone Gucci, so he might have still been off the promethazine, and he was on Twitter going off, and she was just like, "This shit not happening," and of course Waka just like, "They ain't got nothing to do with me."
hell yeah. I actually, you
'Cause,
said
Waka
Waka.
the shooter, so you know he don't
Yeah.
say much.
I'm looking at something right now and say Love and Hip Hop, and then I just see you're canceled.
Well, that's who makes Love and Hip Hop?
Mona Scott.
Mona Scott. Cancel Mona Scott.
Oh, chill, son. Mona Scott a goat.
Elaborate.
A goat in
Yeah,
what way?
wait.
Destroying the black community.
Yes. Yes.
I agree
we
with
was talking
that.
about all that media shit earlier.
Yes.
Mona Scott is
She's the queen of it. She's the queen of this reality shit.
Let me make this money off of black
Yeah.
ratchetness.
Yeah.
the only good
and
thing
it
she has
sells.
brought us is Ray J. Ray J is back on reality TV. That is it.
Ray J was a man before Mona Scott.
He's also correct.
The man.
We gonna debate that?
Well, look, I'm not gonna say the man, but if you
All
listen
right,
to,
yeah, I'm cool with that.
look up Vince Staples talking about Ray J. He makes some very valid points
Okay.
about how Ray J is low key a goat.
I will be for it.
Look it up.
That's
Vince
LA.
Staples, who is a very credible person.
Yep.
His hustle is admirable. Ray J's hustle.
Yeah, it is.
He figures out a way to make himself prevalent almost
He's
consistently.
a very marketable person.
Yeah.
So
Like
we-
when he
so
went
we
on the
not-
Breakfast Club,
One
what
of
is
Vince
it?
Staples' points is that Ray J was on Moesha as 2 completely different characters.
He was. He was. He was.
2 completely different characters.
Was he the?
He was smashing Lil Kim when he was young.
What?
Yeah.
Say it again. Say it
He was
again.
an
He
Ashley
was
Lil
smashing. He
Kid.
was running through Lil Kim when she was still fine.
Jesus. He's the goat. Oh God.
Oh man. All right.
Scooty Bikes is a success. He was one of the first people to have a reality TV show on VH1.
Yeah.
For the love of Ray J, right?
I mean, that was one, but him and Brandy had their own TV show.
Oh.
Ray J is, I mean,
It's-
Kim Kardashian is,
He did it first.
he did it first. I mean,
Witness the dance.
Hey,
and then he had a pretty successful music career.
He
I mean,
One Wish was great.
One
his
Wish.
music
yeah.
career
One wish. I
existed.
mean,
And the song with Lil' Kim.
existed. That's
It
better.
existed.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's
Wait
better.
a minute. I
That's
like that.
better.
He
So-
hasn't came up with that much music, so with the little bit that he has came out with, it's been.
I think he was that. I don't know. I was watching the shit, but wasn't he like affiliated with like not affiliated with Death Row for a little bit?
He
I feel like Ray
owns
J.
Suge Right.
Yeah,
he owns
yep.
Suge Knight's life rights.
Yep.
This nigga is really
He
know.
owns his
No,
life
I think he
rights?
was like signed to Death Row when he was a child.
Yeah.
too.
He
about to-
definitely
he about
signed
to-
Death Row.
Yeah.
He wasn't Lil Bow
Apparently.
Wow who just put his face up.
Honestly, Ray J's plugged into LA. Yo.
I'm telling y'all,
he might be a clown, but he
watch
still
the Vince
he like
Staples
Nick
interview.
Cannon.
It's him and Tyler Creator going over how Ray J is a goat. It's
Yeah, I'm gonna
crazy.
watch that. I see the clips right. Yeah, him and Nick Cannon, yo,
Nick
like
Cannon-
they
Nick Cannon's a
borderline. Yeah.
I don't think he's a
But you know
clown.
what?
I
Nick
think he's just
Cannon-
not a good rapper.
Nick
Nick
Cannon,
Cannon is
it's like
not a
Dwight
clown. I
Howard
think
too.
he's a good businessman, but Nick
Yo,
Cannon
Gigolo is
did
a
over
good
the
song.
summer. You know, he went to like Howard for like a year or whatever.
Yeah, he got woke.
He has these videos on YouTube called Candace Class where he's talking to Howard professors.
Yeah.
And it's legit.
Yeah, nah,
he
got
was
artists on
good
that
until
too.
he did one with like Rizza Islam, which was like Hotepi is like niggas that wear aluminum hats.
Yeah.
And then he did one with Dame Dash, and I was like, I can't.
Yeah, I seen the one with
can't.
Dame Dash. I like to hear Dame Dash beat because he just be He dropped some gems.
And
but we all
he'll
over the
drop some
place.
gems, but
Yeah.
you just can't be sensitive.
Yeah, it can't be sensitive at all. But those type of
Like
niggas I
DJ
like to
Envy?
listen. Yeah, he would probably be a little sensitive.
No, he was sensitive.
Yeah.
That episode, he was definitely sensitive.
Ooh, so what are we even talking about right
Cancel culture.
now? Okay. Yeah.
And we did go a little left field.
I'm sorry
We
with the Ray
definitely
J.
started
rant.
talking about Ray J
Yeah.
and Cannon being.
And so I'm looking at the article right now, and T.I. says that cancel culture
Well,
is
wasn't
fake.
T.I. canceled for like a split second?
Was he?
For
Yeah,
the
for tiny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, another failed cancel.
What he said was fake.
These clothing lines.
Oh,
Gucci was
yeah,
fake canceled.
Yep.
And then they was like, "Oh, we gonna do a deal with Dapper Dan, so all the niggas can be back with us."
Yep.
And
it worked.
H&M.
it worked. H&M
They still
still they putting all these black people as their spokesperson after they fucked around with that coolest monkey in the room shit.
I feel like Gucci did some shit. Reese. He said Gucci already.
Yeah,
Right?
Gucci. They had the
was
they had a
another
whole
one.
black face like sweater.
Sweater, jacket, and the matching purse.
All right, but back to Gayle King and her situation and that whole situation as a whole. So after Snoop apologized, Gayle King accepted her apology. She was still canceled. Essentially, she was still receiving death threats and tweets and that type of stuff.
Nigga news take about 3 to 5 business days to get around.
Well, here's the thing. I think the momentum for people that benefit, there are people that benefit off of cancel culture. Let's be very clear.
Such as?
So, like, when you have, like, the woke warriors benefit off of cancel culture. Like, they're going to keep it going. Like, oh, so Gayle Kim tried to apologize. We're not going to take her fake-ass apology. They call people, coons and all these, all that type,
All
different
these
type
fake
of stuff.
influences.
Right.
So how we going to move forward with cancel culture?
We gotta have context, right? Like, I think it's all about really. We need to stop being lazy with our thought process and really look into something, because everything's given to us in under 59 seconds, and we take that 59 seconds and we run with it.
It's a whole lot of headlines as well.
Well, and that's the thing. We tend to cancel people off of one single action, which one single action never determines a person's character.
Right.
Which is why I say people like 50 Cent is personally canceled, because it's not one thing that he's done. It's just multiple. My nigga since
Multiple
2010.
ain't
It's
it?
like,
It's over a
Well,
decade worth of stuff.
After Kobe passed, 50 Cent that he said that he's no longer trolling.
well, if
We'll-
that's
we'll
if,
see.
If we'll
I'm
see.
just throwing
I
that
don't
out
think he is. I think it's just like Tourette's for him. It's like he,
I don't think he's capable. I think everybody agrees that, but we're gonna see.
I just think we have to take a look at the person that we trying to cancel, not just the act that they've done. And even once we've quote unquote canceled them, I don't think that's not shouldn't be permanent. It's not a permanent sentence. It's not a life sentence. It's all right. You did this.
Hello,
we didn't
Moto.
like you. Almost like how Kanye was like, hey, you said that slavery was a choice shit. We didn't fuck with you. And then you started saying some shit that started to make sense a little bit. Where it's like, all right.
So I thought about something too.
What?
I think cancel culture is mainly black people, right? I think it is mainly black
Well,
I
what's
wouldn't say
the
that.
Who's
lady
white?
named
Who's white? Who
Kathy
canceled?
Griffin?
Yeah, Kathy Griffin.
people. I don't
ain't-
even know what she was canceled over.
She murdered Trump.
Yeah, she was going in on Trump. Like, I will say this. I think
So
people
we canceled her?
No, she's
No,
like she's canceled for real.
cancel
for real.
like, not
she-
just black people.
like,
I think
the
black
business
people don't
cancel
cancel
her.
people. I think we really forgive people more than cancel them. I think all
just put
the
them in
cultures they legit cancel them, and they probably wouldn't support them and let them really figure out how they're gonna survive. Because Kathy Griffin, like she was doing an interview with. Now she got to go to the black markets to try to survive, and tell her story about how her and the Donald Trump situation is holding her back now. So yeah, and what's the other
the dude
guy?
from
House of Cards.
the House of Cards dude.
Spades?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey.
Take a little
He's for
booty
real
hole.
canceled. He hasn't been anywhere. They didn't even finish the last season that he was in. They did a completely new season without him to end the show.
Well, Kathy Griffin wasn't us. I think with us, I think
Well, it's never really us because we not like Kelvin said. We are forgiving people.
Yeah, we
so
don't
we're not
cancel.
really.
there's a whole list of people we just named that we canceled.
That was all temporary.
And
Who was really canceled?
who
well,
did we successfully cancel?
Well, my point was that we are quick to, I guess, in your sense, what you said, temporarily cancel, and we're also quick to invite people to a cookout too.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
that's a whole
also-
nother topic
yeah.
for another day.
And that really is.
But I think that's I think it's almost like they're counter.
Yeah.
They counter each other though. That's why I bring it up.
It shows you how wide range like black people are for real.
Yeah, because it's typically once they get canceled by the white folks,
You come on
we
in.
try to invite them to the cookout.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
You
they
part of
don't
the team
fuck
now.
with you, but you can come over here. Just don't put no raisins in a potato salad.
Just know you just here to show up and you ain't got to cook nothing.
Bring ice
Don't
and
take
cups.
food. Like
That's-
shit.
Bring
Like
paper
shit.
plates.
You
Just
know,
bring your plate.
Don't get too comfortable. Don't say nigga. Hey, you
And
be
you can't
alright.
take a plate home. This is your first time. Eat what you got here.
So
You
we
the
should
last one that gets
So we
served.
should expect Kathy Griffin and Tyler Perry movie.
Yes. Yes.
That would not surprise me.
Yo, Kathy Griffin, yeah, she's gonna be all
would
over
surprise
black media real quick. Any opportunity she can go and get, she gonna take it. She was on the Breakfast Club or somewhere, and
Yeah, she was on the Breakfast Club. At one
yeah,
point.
she was just name dropping all her celebrity friends, just trying to plug them in, get back in a good note. Yeah.
Please, niggas, help me, please.
Oh gosh.
Black friends, please help.
Please.
Because the other side canceled me, and I know y'all forgiven.
I
Nah,
sure do know
Because that
y'all
Christianity
forgiven.
they taught you.
That's
We ain't going.
Oh my
Nah,
gosh.
we
came ready today.
Yeah,
I
we did.
appreciate
And,
y'all.
and you know what? I like this energy because we really there's like if you don't push that conversation on that envelope, you ain't doing nothing right. And I really feel like today in this episode, we really had some good provoking conversations and pushing the limit. Just being a black man out here. And Dre, yo, we gonna hit that topic.
Yeah.
Yo.
Black
'Cause
men
I
who
think that's a
desire to
big
be
one.
recognized as intelligent black men,
And
and first and foremost.
Yeah, 100. Because
And why would-
that's
and-
really lacking.
I don't want to lose the energy talking about Kathy Griffin because she is a comedian. Not black comedy, but comedy as a whole and cancel culture
True.
has lessened the impact of what we can say, of what black people or anybody can say in comedy.
Yeah, that's real.
Um,
You know, Dave Chappelle
And
was
that's
canceled
why
by the
Dave
white
Chappelle
people.
was like our hero because he's like, y'all can cancel me the fuck y'all want to. I already was gone for 12 years. What else y'all gonna do? Like, I got 60 million from Netflix. I can go
cancel
back to my
myself.
ranch in Ohio and disappear.
Right, and I think that's a big thing because I think it's a white comic, Andrew Schultz. He said that comedy has gotten so bad that when you actually do a bit, people don't laugh anymore; they clap. That's horrible.
Yeah.
You're supposed to laugh
Yeah.
at a joke. You're not supposed to clap because you're being politically correct or you're standing on a stance. They came here to laugh.
Yeah,
True.
but
Laugh
that
at your
it contradicts
jokes. Yeah.
one of my favorite comedians, Gerard Carmichael. He did an interview where he's like, I purposely try to say the most offensive shit because he likes it when his jokes just shocks the fuck out of people where they're
Yeah.
completely silent versus just getting a laugh.
I was
Who
disappointed
did-
he was.
you say he's one of your favorite comedians?
Yeah, Gerard Carmichael.
You like his stand up?
Yeah. Because he has that dark,
I know that's your brother. Like, calm down.
I want to see you do this, dog.
His stand up is trash.
'Cause-
I like his
no,
show.
his-
His
the
stand up is
the eight
ass.
one?
No, 8, I feel like 8 was great.
Yo, 8 was good.
It was
Like, the
trash.
first time I
That
watched
shit
it, I
was
was
hilarious.
hilarious. No, it was like
I forced myself
That
because
shit
of the
was
Carmichael show.
hilarious,
yo.
Because off the strength of
You
the
know
Carmichael,
why?
I tried. I
Hey,
looked at
yo.
it.
because he doesn't. He's
I
not
remember
telling
where I was
jokes.
at when I was trying.
He's not even trying, yo. He's just speaking.
I
You
was
know
looking at
what's
it.
funny? You have to look at in the context of the show. It's only like 2 black people in the entire building, so his jokes are not funny. The white people's like, oh
like
shit.
Here's the thing. Funny is funny. I shouldn't have to try to understand shit. I should just be able to laugh at it.
That's,
you get what I'm saying?
That's one level of comedy. When your joke is funny on 2 different levels, where it's
I
like,
shouldn't have to think to laugh at you.
I mean,
Laugh at your
sometimes you
joke.
got, yeah.
Like, why do I have to think to laugh at your joke? If you're funny, like Richard Pryor's funny, Eddie Murphy's funny,
Well,
Kevin Hart's
also-
funny.
also
like,
I think- but his crowd,
Dave
though,
Chappelle is funny. I don't have to think to laugh at
He
him.
was playing 2 crowds. Gerard Carmichael. I think when you said all the other comedians, you said their crowd at that time probably was the crowd that you know what I'm saying, your audience, or you as an
Not
audience.
Dave was mixed. But you know what? No, that's not fair. That's not fair. Dave's a legend. That's not fair.
And Gerard, like Gerard Carmichael, that 8 series, he was all white people. I was kind of disappointed that it was all white people, for real. But then as it went on, that shit was hilarious, and it made me feel better because he was saying these jokes in front of white people. Like Gerard, I was really disappointed that he wasn't in that Easter
because
movie
I love the Carmichael show.
Yeah, that was
and
my
I was
shit
just
too.
like, I think he's a great like TV comedy, like almost like
Well,
how I
the
think
thing about
Will Smith
him
is funny on the show, but I think he would be trash at stand up.
The thing about Gerard Carmichael's comedy is he's not a character. Like his joke, you have to actually listen to what he says and interpret the joke. Versus other people, their vocal inflections and everything gets you into the story a little bit. He's just gonna talk just like this the whole time and say his joke. You won't even know that it was a joke.
You have a job to do, right? And sometimes you have to use additional tools in your repertoire to make the job work. And
I think
and to a certain extent,
he's anti that, which makes him a great comedian.
Yeah, he does.
it actually like in my opinion, it's not like he's being the opposite of that. It's just that it's almost like there's a lack of almost.
I could tell you he's
that
being the opposite of that because he actually the executive produced another stand up on HBO. He was like, the guy did a whole stand up special with no crowd. Like he did it in like an empty auditorium.
Let me give you an example. What's his name? Damn, who wrote for Richard Pryor?
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney. He will not be nearly as good of a comedian as Richard Pryor.
He's not the character of Richard Pryor. That's what I'm saying.
There we go.
Sounds like okay.
There we go. But Richard Pryor will still be regarded as one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest, even though Paul Mooney wrote for him, because it takes something besides the jokes to carry.
It's a performance as well. Yes,
it's a performance.
Yes.
That's why ghostwriters are just ghostwriters. That's why they're not. Some of them are not performers because they can't do it.
Yeah.
As well. I think Gerard Carmichael is not as good of a comedian to play to various crowds.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair.
But he's not canceled though, so let's get back on.
I was about to say a comedian that was canceled, and I kind of want to end on
He
talking
wasn't canceled,
about her.
but he was also canceled. Like Gerard Carmichael, he was canceled by NBC. They was like, because he was like trying to,
push that envelope,
trying to be woke, and they was like, not on our network, nigga.
Because that Carmichael show.
Did you guys do you guys watch what was it called? Something Gods. I can't think of it.
God friended me.
Damn it. I'll go back to it. Like,
all right.
Go to what y'all were saying. I can't
We're just gonna close out this cancel culture
you're
conversation.
closing it out?
Yeah, we're gonna.
It's a
Let me
long
say
episode.
Let me say one.
Yeah, everybody gonna get their final words.
Have you ever seen the show American Gods?
American Gods? Nah, I haven't.
Have you seen it, Brian? Who's the character that played a Nancy in that show? And I want to make a point about this, and this is it. I'll end on it.
Not
Yes,
Brown.
Orlando.
Orlando Bloom?
No, it's a black man.
No, Orlando.
Orlando Brown.
Yeah, he was the director in.
No, Orlando Jones.
Orlando Jones.
Yeah, he was the band director in Drumline. So he
One
played
band.
he played a Nancy, like an African god in American Gods.
Okay.
He was booted from that show for basically being too woke. Speaking on like the current status of like black people and in America, and actually giving an unfiltered voice. There was one scene that I loved. It was
So he spoke like that on the show.
he spoke like it on the show.
And they kicked him off because the writers wrote like that for him, and they approved it.
An actor sometimes improvises, so that's.
But they still
Wrote the shit.
They still put it out.
It was still
Right.
down the guidelines of the script.
right.
Okay.
Right. So he was let go from the show because probably maybe the people that were higher up probably didn't like it. There was one where he was a god on a slave ship, a voyage going into America, and he played a Nancy, I guess like a spider god, a spider god, and the slaves prayed to him. Prayed to him to free them from their shackles so that they could escape. And he came up and he basically gave them a speech to inspire them to to kill their slave masters on that boat, and to actually burn the boat down and to die for a purpose, and to no longer to take pride in dying free as opposed to living a slave. Later in that show series, he also went on a rant speaking to Egyptian gods that were also played by black people, talking about how they've lost, how they've given their power, how they used to be revered amongst their people, and how their followers, their worshipers, who are black people across the world, they are being captured, thrown into slavery, sex trafficking across the nation. It was a powerful speech. He was canceled from that show. He was discarded from that show because of that speech. This is, I guess, a different level of cancel culture, in my opinion. Speaking your mind, speaking the truth, and speaking to a sensitive subject that is powerful to a group of people can get you canceled.
Yeah, that sounds like a moment where you just can't get a whole crowd rallied up for real, and for a positive cause. It kind of reminded me of just finishing watching the Malcolm X story. You know how he rallied, Black Americans, male Americans, and we know what happened and how that all happened. Yeah, that's a real thing for real.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that. Cancel culture, man.
Cancel culture kind of happens in various ways, I think, and it's like to an extreme level, to a worldwide level, it might not happen as it's perceived. I think we can do it personally in our own timelines and stuff like that, which it is what it is for real. Cancel culture.
Cancel culture 2020.
Anybody you want to cancel? Anybody want to uncancel?
I wasn't gonna say it.
He didn't say it. But Drake. Anybody you want to get up out of here? You already said one person. Who was that first person they get? He said he's going. Who you cancel? 50.
Well, yeah, 50 already canceled.
That's crazy, though. I'm gonna give you this
right
book.
now. Is there anyone that I want to cancel? Kawhi Leonard's braids.
Shit.
You not a fan of the straight backs?
Kawhi is a classic nigga. Yeah. He said, "I don't want that extra shit."
Kawhi Leonard's braids.
That's a good one. All right.
Kawhi Leonard don't need to talk. No swag. Just straight up.
Just
the
ball.
uniform.
Just ball.
Straight backs. All he needed is some
Board man gets paid. Board man gets paid.
All he needed is some black Air Forces. He'd be ready.
I would try to laugh like him, but I ain't gonna fuck my own shit up.
993s.
Hey yo, man, this was a good conversation today, fellas. Man, had a good time with y'all, man.
Thank you for watching What's Good Bro podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. Also, make sure you check out the rest of our footage on our page.
Yeah, we got some dope content on Instagram as well. You can follow us there at WGB Podcast.
And please don't forget to listen to us on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. We come out every other week.
And remember, thank you.
Okay.